Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about sharpening, and we're going to be talking about sharpening from an AI perspective via a plugin called Topaz Sharpen AI. For those of you who are signed up to the membership will recognize this image of these two little nippers that we've got up on our screen here. This was shot back in the winter of 2017, and it was very early days of me actually learning how to use the manual focus 200mm f2 Nikkor lens, and it's a lens that came out in the late 70s 80s, so it's pretty old. It's almost as old as I am. But I want to talk about one of the issues that we did have over here, and when I zoom in, embarrassingly, you can see how out of focus I was when I shot this image. Now granted, it was a pretty active shoot with these two little guys running around, bending down, laughing at me. There was a lot of moving components here. I was laying down in the snow, as you would have seen in the tutorial, and I was capturing away. And yes, you can see here that I partially missed focus. You can see that I kind of pre-focused on the brother over here, so he's a little bit more in focus than his sister. His sister leaned forward in that plane of focus, and hence the reason why she's even more out of focus than what he is. Now, you guys would have seen the methods that I deployed inside of Lightroom and Photoshop to rescue the sharpness of this particular image. And this was the final result. You can see that we recovered quite a substantial amount of focus on them and sharpness. And you can see that we've got this beautiful, soft, finished image. One of the drawbacks was when we started deploying the sharpening methods, we did introduce a little bit more extra noise. Okay, this was shot at a shutter speed of 1/800th of a second at f2, of course, with a low ISO of 200 over here. So this is a little bit more of an elevated noise pattern that we do have in this image. Of course, I can zoom in here and we can actually reduce the noise right here, and there you go. That's kind of fixed up the noise that we had in the image. But what I want to do today is I want to open this particular image over here and recover the sharpness. Let's have a look. We'll edit in Photoshop 2022. That's where that plugin resides at the moment. And what we're going to do is head on over to our filter menu here and look for Topaz Labs, and we're going to look for Topaz Sharpen AI. Now, I have got one other plugin from them, which is the Topaz Remask 5 plugin. I absolutely love that for making accurate selections of my subjects when I want to do background changes to images. So what we're going to do is click on Topaz Sharpen AI, and it's going to open up this little box over here. And let me just reposition our subjects in the frame over here, and we're going to have a look at what it's going to do here. You can see that we've got these various sharpened models over here, and the software has detected out of focus, very blurry as the best option for this particular image. Now you see it says updating over here, and there you go, it's updated. But check this out, before and after. Look at the incredible amount of detail that's been brought back in this particular image just by using the out of focus, very blur sharpened model here. But what's also interesting, and I think a very big benefit in this process, is that there isn't actually any extra noise added to the image. Okay, look at the noise. In fact, it's actually helping our image get rid of some of the noise that did exist there. Okay, this is set to a remove blur of 30, and our noise suppression is actually sitting on 0 here. So even though this is on 0, it's actually done a pretty good job of controlling any kind of potential noise. One of the little niggles that I do have with the software is every time I move my subjects around in the frame, it's got to do the process again. It's got to kind of work out things again and display an updated version of the image. But look at that. It's really brought an insane amount of detail back into our subjects. And I'm looking at little areas like this over here by the hair. You can almost see the hairs kind of disappearing out of focus over here. But when we've applied this AI sharpening method here, look at the amount of sharpening that it's bringing back in the image, in the little girl's eyes, in her teeth, in her mouth, across all of this, lots of detail in her jacket here. Again, like I said, every time we make a move over here, it's got to recalculate things, but let's wait for it to update over here and we'll soon see our resulting image. Wait for it to update. There we go. It's updated before and after. That is pretty awesome. And like I said, what I think I like most about this is that we're not adding extra noise to the image. I'm going to press apply here. This is one of the processes that do take a moment to do. And in my case, because I've got a pretty beefy computer, the processing of this image is running fairly fast. It's going to be done, it says here, soon. But let's have a look at the end result. Check that out, folks. That is pretty amazing. Let's go and have a look at the side-by-side inside of Lightroom. So we can match up the two and then see how it compares to what we've done in our sharpening method. So before and after. That is pretty awesome. There is a substantial amount of sharpness that's been brought back across the board in this image. Okay, let's compare it to my method that I used. Okay, there still seems a wee bit sharper. Okay, and I haven't even applied any pre-sharpening to my image inside of Lightroom. So there is my version, and there's their version of, you know, obviously recovering sharpness in that image. And that is pretty beneficial. When I look at the noise ratio here, that is still a very clean image. Mine is turned a little bit more noisy, but in all fairness, when I've got this printed up huge and I'm not pixel peeping, the image looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, zooming out there, you can see where we started before and where we finished after. Like I said in the beginning of the tutorial, or this overview of the software, you guys who are tuned into the membership will have access to this particular tutorial, and you'll understand what methods I used to increase the sharpness, okay, inside of Lightroom and inside of Photoshop. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That was my little overview of the Topaz Sharpen AI plugin. You know, for you guys who do shoot manual lenses and do have a couple of images that are out of focus, or in fact, not just necessarily manual focus, but also autofocus images that might be a little bit offbeat in terms of focusing, this is a really good bit of software. Right, folks, thank you very much for tuning into today's mini overview, and we'll see you in the next session. Cheers for now.